Hey guys, Sparks here with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. Humanity may have betrayed Dorothy, but she won't betray you if you let her on your squad. In this review, we'll go over PvE test, PvP test, her skill set, and more. So I've had a max limit break Dorothy for a while, but I didn't want to do a review until they fixed the bug preventing her from getting the bonuses from overload gear. Fortunately, that's been fixed, and I've been able to test her extensively in a variety of situations. First, let's look at her kit. So she's a Burst 1 water type support with an AR. Skill 1 activates when firing the last bullet and affects all allies. Burst cooldown is reduced. This is always useful and probably the main reason people have compared her to Leader so often. It also has a second part that activates if she has just used her burst, that it also affects all allies. Damage to enemy parts is significantly increased for 5 seconds. You can see here at level 7, it's increased by a large 44%. This is also a very useful effect against many bosses. Skill 2 is an active skill that goes off every 20 seconds automatically and deals nearly 200% of her attack stat to all enemies. Keep in mind, this damage will go down the more enemies are on the field. So kind of a useful AoE attack, but also kind of better against a single target boss. It's probably her worst skill, but definitely not bad. Her burst is a 20-second cooldown and has 2 parts. The first affects herself and changes the cooldown of skill 2 to only 2 seconds instead of 20 seconds, and this effect lasts for 10 seconds. So you'll get off 5 of these in rapid succession. If skill 2 was a little underwhelming normally, this makes it way better. Plus, she gains Pierce for 10 seconds. This is also extremely good, as we'll see in some later examples. Part 2 of the burst affects one enemy. It brands them and for the next 10 seconds adds up all the damage you did to it and then deals the total to all enemies on the field as distributed damage. Similar to how skill 2 works. Note that there is a damage cap of about 8,000% of Dorothy's attack, but this is very powerful. Dorothy can do a ton of damage with this skill. The only real downside is that so many flashing lights go off that it can actually be hard to see what's happening on screen. Now, for cubes, I think the best cube for her to equip is the Resilience Cube for faster reload. This is good for everybody. It might be the best cube in the game in general, but it's particularly good for Dorothy because it helps her cycle her skill 1 faster and use more last bullets to get in that extra effect. You could also do the hit rate cube, but make sure you avoid all cubes that increase her ammo in any way possible, and also obviously charge effects are useless too. Now, when doing a shooting range test, I want to do a direct comparison with Leader. As usual, remember, shooting range tests are only showing a limited picture of the unit's usefulness, but we can get a baseline for her damage. So with Leader, the squad did 154 million. Leader herself did a rather meager 9.5 million, but you can see Scarlet did over 52 million and Modernia did over 68 million. Leader is here 100% as a support to increase the other unit's attack. Now with Dorothy, on the same team, the results are extremely similar. We just edged out the last results by about 500,000 damage, and I've found this to be true in almost all situations. The difference between Dorothy and Leader is extremely small, but how they go about achieving success is very different. So here we can see Dorothy did about 2.5 times the damage that Leader did, but you can see that Scarlet and Modernia are both doing significantly less damage. Also keep in mind both Leader and Dorothy have skills of level 7, max bond, and Dorothy is max limit break and Leader is core 1. Leader has 1 overload gear and Dorothy has 2. So this is a pretty even test. Now Dorothy can fit into a variety of teams. She's a 20-second burst 1, so you don't have to pair her with any other burst 1. She also has the all-important burst cooldown, so basically the only thing probably you don't want to do is use her with Leader together. Otherwise, you can work with almost anyone. Privity is worth calling out because of the reload speed buff that helps Dorothy cycle through her last bullet quicker. The other thing to consider is her Pierce ability, so you might want to pair her with other Pierce units such as Alice. And that brings me to all the other PvE tests. So Dorothy will shine the most against bosses who have either multiple parts to destroy or a shield that can be pierced through. This made her super useful against Rebuild Stout in the Union raid. I also put together an all-Pierce team and ripped through the boss, even at level 10, with Dorothy contributing a large chunk of the damage. I also used her against the dreaded Material H. She didn't shine quite as much there, but she still held her own. Another notable boss that she is very strong against is Chatterbox, because her multiple parts, because he has multiple parts to destroy, so you get the benefit from her skill 1 for extra part damage, plus the Pierce from her burst can hit more than one part at the same time if you shoot from the right angle. This is a situation where she clearly outperformed Leader, but remember, Leader can repair your cover, which is extremely useful in a lot of situations. So if you're a lower power team still struggling with Chatterbox, Leader might actually still be the move. In many situations, Leader's overall utility can be more valuable than Dorothy, but in certain situations, Dorothy can be the clear winner. Plus, having both is great because you need multiple teams for raids. They can specialize in different situations as well. In PvP, Dorothy is okay, not bad, not great. She's definitely not as hamstrung by a lack of useful abilities like Viper was. Link to that review up there and in the description. She's generally a strong unit, but you know, there's a lot of really good burst ones in PvP, like Emma, Jackal, Rapunzel, Noise, etc. So she might not even make any of your teams just because there's so many good options. If you're short on burst ones and you need someone to pair with Rapunzel, you know, she has like a lower or a longer cooldown or something like that, she can fill that slot. So Dorothy overall is a very, very strong unit. I don't think she's always better than Leader, but the very fact that this is even a debate proves how good she is. If you don't have her yet, I hope you get her soon, and if you do have her, you spent your gems well. She was super useful to me in the raid, but let me know your experience with her, and please let me know if you have any questions. So now we are going to end the video with opening a mold, and it is AdMe. Okay, she can be decent on the faster reload team with Dorothy too. Anyway, see you guys on stream or in the next video.